right, hello everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Ask PK podcast. Across from me, I have Pastor Keith, and we'll be asking him another question for him to delve into and uncover with us today. Hi, Pastor Keith. Thank you for joining us.
Well, good to be here.
All right. Today's question is a very interesting one. It is a question of how did people before Jesus get saved? And how do people before Jesus pretty much go to heaven? Because, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so could you tackle that little tricky bit for us?
Sure. Bible says we've been saved by grace. By grace, we've been saved through faith. And that hasn't changed. Through faith, we've been given that grace, right? And salvation. So everybody's saved through Jesus, whether it was before him or after him. It was accredited his grace. He has accomplished that grace on that cross. So people receive that grace through faith. So Abraham believed in God, and that was accredited to him as righteousness. So basically, Abraham didn't believe in Jesus as a person, but as God and God's provision. Right. And that faith was credited to him, and how the grace of God was released on that cross of Jesus Christ. So if you want to do that, like it's somebody taking a loan from the bank, and it was paid back on that by Jesus Christ on his cross. And so whether it be before him or after him, is only through Jesus Christ. And the way of receiving it is only through faith. It hasn't changed. So we have to go a little bit beyond that, because the theology is progressive. So it is built on one another. And so some parts, some concepts in the Old Testament is not really defined until it comes to New Testament. So the concept of heaven and hell was delineated by Jesus Christ. Right. He taught about hell, and he taught about paradise and heaven and all that. And later on, through Revelation, John, the disciple, talks about new heaven and new earth and all that. So, but in the Old Testament, it is just lump them together as a Sheol. It's another nether world where dead go to. Pretty much like Greek concept of Hades. It wasn't really defined. But even then, we see these bits and pieces of the theology there's a peeking through. So like Job, which is a very ancient material, about the same time as Genesis, that material talks about, I know that my Redeemer lives, and I shall see him on the earth, right? And they talks about Redeemer. And all Old Testament talks about salvation by someone else, right? A deliverer and the redeemer. Right. That concept was built on. And later on, Ezekiel uses the word son of man. It's actually his title. So God speaks to him as a son of man, and son of man calls him that. And then later on in Daniel, he uses the word son of man as godly figure. And through 400 years of silence, this was more developed. And when it comes to the New Testament time, Jesus' favorite title for himself is son of man. And so this redeemer figure, deliverer, the Messiah, and son of man is all coming together with son of God concept. Right. And so definitely it's only through Jesus alone. But chronological time-wise, whether it be before or after, all because of cross of Jesus Christ. And they all receive the grace through faith. So whether it's before cross or after cross, is the way the same.
Wow. Right. Yeah. That really just kind of goes to show that our idea and our thought process of like linear thinking is so limited.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Pastor Keith.
You're welcome.
We hope that was a very fun and intriguing answer for you. Really goes to show that the scope is a lot larger than we think. So we'll see you next time on Ask PK.